Hello, everybody. Raven here from the Weird Ones, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck challenge. This is, as you may have noticed, not the Zushin deck that I said I was going to do. Unfortunately, there's issues with that deck that made it difficult to complete. I'm still working on it, right? And I've decided to take a break on that and throw this together. I was mostly inspired by. Honestly, I was thinking of doing this shortly before the Labrynth cards came out, with Labrynth archetype now here, and, well, not here, but announced. It just helps the deck move forward to a point where it's actually unhealthy, right? So, the card in the topic of the deck, right, is Judgment of the Pharaoh, right? You pay half your life points, and you get one of two effects depending on which specific card you have in the graveyard. If you have Yojo Friendship, which is this card, in your graveyard, you can lock your opponent out of any and all summonings and settings of monsters, as well as preventing the activation of their effects. Essentially, you're telling your opponent you are not allowed to utilize any monster cards this turn, right? Whereas if you send Unity, which is this card, right, it's the same for spells and traps. It prevents their activations, they can't be set, and their effects are all negated, right? So basically it just shuts down your opponent for a turn, right? And it only targets one or the other. The difficult part of making a deck around it was before getting them into the graveyard and then getting this card on the field, because it requires setup that requires very specific cards, and while you can activate them in nearly any game state, Yojo Friendship literally has no activation requirements whatsoever, and Unity only requires you to have one face-up monster on the field. The one monster on your side of the field that you target can be the only monster on your field to target. So as long as you have a monster out, you can just activate them to send them to the graveyard. Pretty handy, as well as sending them directly to the graveyard with Foolish Burial Goods, or discarding them with Stove or Chandra, which also helps, especially considering both of those are relatively easily searchable or accessible, right? As far as Judgment goes, it can be set with Trap Tricks by itself, yes. It can also be set with Labrynth setting, which is also nice, as well as Fair Welcome Labrynth, though that one doesn't come up nearly as often, right? But getting access to it isn't very difficult at all. And Lilith. Can't forget Lilith, right? So, like, we have a lot of different ways to search the cards, to get the cards needed into the graveyard. We also have a lot of Prosperity to dig into the deck so you can get one of the combo cards, right? Already, you're shaping up to have a relatively nice flowing deck. Now, the issue is that Silver Castle can set it from the graveyard on your turn to therefore reactivate on your opponent's turn, and since it costs half of your life points, you will always have that cost ready. And yes, she requires another fiend to be on the field on the time that you're activating it, but with certain decks, when you're activating Judgment literally every turn, they don't ever have a way to get rid of Silver Castle. And so it's just game right there, right? On top of that, I guess, Lord of the Heavenly Prison, can protect it face down if for some reason, if you're going into turn 3 or 5, and your opponent might have a set Twin Twisters or something. I don't know, right? They try to destroy on the end phase of your turn. As would be the smart play, Heavenly Prison can protect them in that case, so you can continue going on. Ariana, really good card, can special summon, Ariane and Ariana can special summon Lilith as well. Ties the Brethren, can special summon, preferably, Alice. So Alice, Lilith, and Loris, right? Because Loris is another card that can set Judgment to the field directly from the graveyard if you tribute another monster. And Alice searches if she's tributed, so like you get 2 extra cards as well as the card that Lilith searches, all for losing 1 monster. So it's a huge payoff, and Ties the Brethren really helps pull that together. Sorry about that. Anyways, Ties the Brethren also special summon Chandra, which can then discard Friendship or Unity or just any other card to set anything from Welcome Labrynth to Labrynth. So that also helps speed the deck along. Honestly, the Labrynth cards are rather consistent for how few I am playing. 1 Ariana, well, 3 Ariana, but that's just because of the Lady of Lament series. 1 Chandra, 1 Stove, and 1 Kuplop, right? So as the monster lineup goes, I'm pretty bare bones in it. Even amongst the special traps, 1 Setting, 1 Lab, 1 Barrage, which, fun fact, the Barrage can't make it where you can use both Judgment effects. It'll just copy the effect you chose to activate, right? So, 1 Fair Welcome, 2 Welcome Labyrinths, right? We're running a rather small Labyrinth engine in comparison to how big it could be. I feel like Lady Labyrinth is probably as big as the standard engine would go, 3, 1, and 2. As far as Ties the Brethren package goes, but combining both of them in here as well as the Judgment engine, just the deck is composed of 3 separate parts that just happen to function really well together, right? To make an unhealthy deck. I think that basically goes over it all. Let's see it in action. Right, we're going to start with a loss. That's always good to start with, right? Going against Fortune Ladies. I will note that there was a duel shortly before then where they blind allured into nothing and had to discard their entire hand. It's rather unfortunate. It's really sad to watch. But we did a rematch on honor of that because, honestly, it just hurts when the RNG gets to you. So, their field wasn't really threatening, I guess. But ultimately, I didn't do much to fight them anyways. I didn't have much to fight with. So, they're going off, attacking. I don't know why they didn't summon something. They could have summoned Illusion Magician and just straight up ended it, but they didn't. So, that's a mercy on my part, but it didn't save me. This was me utilizing my combos to destroy a couple cards, which helped even the playing field, but I don't know if setting was the right choice for me. I'm not able to end it right here, and that ultimately is the downfall, right? This turn to level 8, banishes my key card, and I combo off a little bit. I'm able to pop every, but every doesn't stay down very. She'll just come back and with draw advantage here. Well, draw advantage, unfortunately, is giving. I really don't have much of a chance of winning here. And then ultimately, this is where it goes to game. They get Archfiend, burn me for 1k, and that is game. Unfortunately, the deck doesn't respond well to burn. It also doesn't respond well to your opponent summoning on your turn. Exorciser completely screws over this deck. I found that out very first duel. There's not much you can do. Unfortunately, I accidentally deleted that duel, so we won't be showing that one. I really wanted to. I was saving that one specifically because it was a really good duel. It really showcased the limitations of this deck. Unfortunately, I accidentally deleted it, so I can't show you like the actual limitations this deck has, even going first, because that was a going first duel, and I ended up losing spectacularly to the Exorcister deck. So honestly, the deck is really interesting, and I'm gonna have to try it out one day, but that day is not today. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. So Gridlock. This one's rather short. I go first. It's against you. Actually, no, he actually went first, but he didn't do anything because he bricked. So basically speaking, I went first, right? So I'm digging a little bit. I utilize Lore to protect my back row because I really don't know what he has. He could have Twin Twisters or something, I don't know. So he ashes that, which probably the smartest play, but considering he doesn't know I have Silver Castle in hand, right? He doesn't want that on the board, so he'll ash that. Smartest play he has. He negates Lady Willamette. I assume because he doesn't want me to set Judgment from my graveyard with its effect, but I can just dig with Lilith to get another one, so it's not the biggest problem. I don't attack. I probably should have. Oh well, actually no, Tie the Brethren I couldn't attack. Never mind. But yeah, I lock him out of things. He actually unbricked, but it doesn't matter because I used Judgment and I said that. He just scoops in the end. Ultimately, there's not really much he could do after that point. I had Judgment set, so his turn was going to be a complete flop, and he no longer had any way to interact with me. So I could just attack. I didn't kill him this round, I'd kill him next round. All he had was a set penalty box, which doesn't really do anything if you don't have any UA monsters on board already. And his next card he was going to draw was UA Turnover Tactics, which requires 2 or more UA monsters with different names on the field already, and I was preventing that, so he doesn't really have much to go off of, which is an example of what I mean when I said that this deck is incredibly unhealthy. But moving on, we're going to another going second. Begins Fortune Ladies again. Now this one I kept because I actually did a really stupid play at the end, which is why it's titled dumb. But they're going to Fortune Lady plays water, draw 2, that, get every on the board, get Secret Village on the board. I had to play around it, but I didn't. I completely ignored that fact and made some crucial errors. First one being setting Friendship. I can't discard him as it is, so yeah. He goes benches Silver Castle. That's my only copy. I don't really have a way to cover it, so I'm kind of just screwed on that end, right? But we go, my turn. I summon that, activate Labrynth to get that out. Spend my other copy of Labrynth to get Ariana, and then tribute both of them for welcome. And here's where my misplay is about to happen, right? I use welcome, I do that, activate that judgment. Okay, so Miriam's play is not about to happen. It's happening next turn. But I use oh nope. This is where it happens. I use Cuckoo Clock to be able to activate Judgment to negate his allure, and puts me in kill range for him. So yeah, you have to watch your life points and what they have already on the field, and considering that Every comes back during my end phase, it's actually really difficult for me to get around her when you know actually going about my place. So yeah, I lost. But it happens. Deck isn't very good going second, unfortunately. It has plays, it can function, but it's not the best. This is the epitome of why this deck is unhealthy. They end up not being able to do anything at all, right? Going first, I send Friendship to the Graveyard, naturally, set Judgment, I get Trap Trick, Welcome Labyrinth. Alright, here's where I do the first lock, and this is where I set up Silver Castle. And this special summons itself, so I can set up setting. I don't really utilize that setting. It's honestly a waste of a set. I should have probably gotten anything else. Probably a Ties or a Pot of Prosperity or something. I don't know. That was not it. I ended up completely wasting it and not being able to utilize it. But I use Trap Trick to get Judgment. I use that to recycle my Labyrinth. And I just start attacking, right? Tribute those two, get the Trap Trick back to the board. Setting is lost because I didn't use it because I didn't have the necessary cards in my graveyard to utilize it. But I move on. Judgment stops the reasoning. This is the second time I've used Judgment on them. And this is when I set the third Judgment, and that's when they surrender because at this point, there's nothing they can do to stop me. I have damage on board to kill them, and even if I didn't, they aren't playing next round at all. I'm not letting them. So, yeah, they end up scooping. But anyways, that is it. That's the deck. Honestly, I'm happy with how the deck turned out and how good it was, but I'm not happy with what the deck is. Ultimately, I'm really going to try to have a combo focus deck next time. Um, honestly, I don't have a problem with control decks like this. I have a problem with dumb decks like this, which is again why I'm working on the Zushin so hard is to not make it a mind deck. I don't really want to have to focus on Mystic Mind for it, so I'm still working on trying to make that work without relying on Mystic Mind to be able to utilize it. I'll probably just be a bit for the Zushin deck. If I'm being honest, it's probably going to take some time to get it to the point where I want it to be. I don't know what card I'm going to do next. Could be anything really. I mean, if you have a suggestion, drop a comment down below and I'll certainly check it out, try it out maybe. But if you like this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this or just other content in general. We have Minecraft on the channel. Ismiris, my sister, she's doing a Mega Hansen one, which is, it gets a lot of Mario vibes when playing it, so if you want to see that, check it out. But yeah, if you're interested in more content, just tell us what you would like us to play and we will check it out at some point. Anything, we might just add it to our wish list to check out at a further point. We almost primarily utilize Steam, so Steam games are probably the easiest, but I also have Epic Launcher and Origin, so we can see what we want to do through any of those, but that is all the time I have right now. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.